Let me tell you a story. What's the real last name? Well, the test came back, and the growth in your chest isn't cancer. We don't know what it is exactly, and cancer generally doesn't try to hide from the scan. Call me paranoid, but I knew I was being watched by something inside my closet. I wish I knew it was my daughter playing a trick on me before I unloaded my gun through the closet doors. Just by laying a hand on someone, I can tell you the time, place, and manner of that person's death, rarely off by more than a handful of minutes. It really just depends on how much they struggle after I lay my hands on them. When I asked it why it was in my room, the man-like creature pointed to some doodles I had drawn on my leg when I was bored. Maybe I shouldn't have drawn a bunch of pentagrams. My boss was always a pig, I thought as I tucked into my meal. How ironic. He tastes like one too. See? No monsters anywhere, Grandma said to her grandson after searching the room. Outside the bedroom, Grandma said, I thought we had an agreement not to go after each other's prey. As a child in the 60s, I spent a lot of time drawing beside my dad whilst he worked from home as a policeman in Northern California. Occasionally, he would pass me a neatly written letter and ask me to draw my signature doodle at the bottom of it, an empty circle with a plus sign over the top. I kept on searching for videos so I could find information of a game, but I keep finding videos of "Help me, I've been kidnapped." I chuckled as I walked to the basement and said, "Give me back my camera." As we dug a hole, we discovered a dead body. This would have been better if we weren't on the moon. The child left the tooth under her pillow that night, expecting a reward for her dislodged treasure. When she woke the next morning, the tooth was gone, and so were the rest of her teeth. He spoke all too calmly for a man in an interrogation room. I don't think there's anything more despicable or pathetic than a parent who kills their own kids. So believe me when I say, the remains you guys found are not from my kids. I told the Genie that I wished that this girl I liked would like me back. Should have specified how much she liked me, because now I'm stuck in the basement. Come on, smile for Sissy, my older sister cheerfully said to me as she tried to take my picture. All I could do was keep myself from vomiting when the ventriloquist took his hand out of my sister's head and forced me to smile. My wish for my dog to live as long as me was granted by the gods. Now as I watch him struggle in his mangled body, too damaged to put back together after he was ran over by the truck, I realized there is only one way I could put him out of his misery. Everyone warned me that having an outdoor cat meant that it would bring me dead things. I got used to it, the occasional bloody gift on my porch, but I expected it to stop when he passed away. I respect your decision to break up, and I'm sorry I remind you of your ex, I said to her. Well, I guess I just have to change my disguises now since it's the third time we are breaking up. They say when you grow up, the monsters you fear disappear. But then, why can I still see my dad? My family in the sky told me it's time to come home. I don't want to ascend alone though. So I invited all my friends over for a party. The punch will send us all home together. Are you having a hard time getting to sleep? It's okay. You're not alone. It was already uncommon for serial killers to make furnitures with their victims, but it was pretty impressive how he was able to keep them alive that way. My two brothers are hysterically knocking at the door of my big brick house, but I refuse to open it for them. To be savagely devoured by a hungry predator is the result of their sloth and incompetence, and I have nothing to do with that. She always wanted to be famous. Now phones across the country are buzzing, telling people all about her. I hid in the closet, peeking out on occasion to see if it was finally gone. Ever since that monitor was installed, I couldn't play with the baby anymore. I never understood why apocalypse survivors in movies chose to have kids until I held my newborn in my arms. Protein was becoming scarce in our bunkers. I awoke groggily to the sound of my bedroom door opening. "Where are you going, baby?" my girlfriend and I asked in unison. Years ago, my best friend and I made a pact that if we were still single at 35, we would get married to each other. As I stare in horror at my friend standing over my husband's bludgeoned body, I finally realized that he had always planned on ensuring the single part took place. She deliberately slowed her pace as she entered the dark alley. There was no way I was going to continue after her. I know when I'm the spider and when I'm the fly. Kevin was taken to the local mental hospital for cutting himself with knives earlier that night and wrapped up in a straitjacket. "Where are your weapons now?" the long-nailed monster sneered as it stepped out of the shadows of the padded room. Going against my lawyer's advice, I pleaded guilty to the murder. I just couldn't imagine going to trial for what I actually did. My friends on Call of Duty always told me that if I killed someone, they would respawn. Seems like my parents lost their last life. "See, there's no monster under the bed," she said as she came up from the floor. "Yes, Mommy," I said, pretending not to notice that her eyes were blue instead of brown. Every night, I hear a soft moan coming from the shed in my backyard. Maybe I should have put duct tape over his mouth before locking my boss in there. I pretended to be asleep while the intruder rummaged through my stuff. After a while, he approached me and whispered in my ear, "I know you are awake." I consider myself an expert of hide-and-go-seek. It's been 12 years, and my parents still can't find my sister buried under the back porch. My friends and I are avid hunters and have developed a point system to keep score of our big hunts. My friend texted me that he was 10 points ahead of me. Lucky for me, I'm in a crowded mall and about to score big. A lady just paid me $10,000 to shoot her wedding. I hired a friend to help me, but when he arrived, I questioned why he brought a camera.